Okay, I think this is going to work. The goal is to show you guys how to do a little bit of work in 3D Builder. For that, we're going to take this turret, right, which is from the Feudal Transport, and we're going to turn it into a Leman Russ main battle tank turret. So I've imported the file, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click, sorry, let me actually go back slower. I'm going to do insert, and I'm going to do add. I'm going to click load object, and it's going to give me a browser. And I'm actually just going to use the main battle cannon STL that I pulled from a file on Thingiverse. I think it's called the Leman Rust, but you'll be able to find it. So click import model. You'll see this was highlighted with a blue outline. That means that the file is fine, it's manifold, it'll print with no problems. If there is a red square at the bottom, you'll get a little pop-up asking if you want to repair the file. It's not a bad idea. Go ahead and repair it. Now, you can see when I click on this, I get the blue highlight. When I click off, I get off. I can click both items, and then I'd be editing both at once. Usually you want to make sure only the one item is highlighted. You have three main tools. This is your movement tool. So I get arrows. I can move it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. In my experience, it's easiest to grab the arrow, click on it so it turns green. If you just click down and drag the middle, you can kind of drag it around, but it's harder to line things up when you do that. The next tool is this, what do they call it? They call it rotate. So rotate tool, same thing. You get green arrows, you can rotate. You can rotate that way. You can rotate this way. Now for our purposes, we want this flat. So if I drag it, and if I drag it outside the circle, it's hard to get it exactly level. But if I drag it inside the circle, it'll snap to 90 degrees. And you can see here the roll is 90 degrees. It's roll, pitch, and yaw, like an airplane might have. So I'm going to say that's good. So I'm going to click on it to deselect it. So let me actually grab it, do the movement tool. I want to move it kind of so it's in roughly the right place. And you can see my turret. And I think it's, if you hold down the control button, you can move around. Being a little bit slow on me today. So my turret's way too small. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the turret. We're going to do the scale. And scale, usually it's in millimeters. I usually click this button here to change it to percent. So it starts at 100%. I want to scale it up to where it looks roughly reasonable. That looks about the right size. Maybe a little bit bigger. Something like that. Okay, I'm going to click off it. Now I'm going to click back onto my turret, do movement, and I'm going to try to kind of position it where I think it should be. Now, it helps if you can kind of zoom in a little bit. What is this not doing? Okay, so you see here like it's on the left. It looks like it's on the left, so it looks like it's pretty well centered, but maybe it's a little too far down. So I think probably something like that would look good, right? Kind of scroll around. Okay, so I think that's good. Now we need a hatch. So I'm going to click add. I'm going to click load object. I'm going to find my hatch STL file, open it, and you see it kind of puts it right there at the bottom, and it's way too small right now. So let me import it. When I import and I have something floating in the middle, the first thing I do is I just use the green arrow to lift it up. That gets it out of the way. Now let me click to deselect it. I'm going to click back on my big turret and I want to look at the resize, and I see that I made it 159.34%. Arbitrary, but whatever, right? I'm going to click off this, I want to resize. Let me click the lock. That locks these three numbers together. So now I'll do, if you click on any of these three boxes, and you start typing, you'll get a little pop-up box, and you can type in the exact percentage, hit accept. That makes it bigger. Change over to movement, and I'll drop it back down. 3D Builder, as I'm doing this, I don't know if you can tell, but it kind of like snaps into place. And I think right now, I don't know what it's snapping to, but it snaps to various things. But you have to be careful, like when it snaps there, that's not good, it's too high. That's probably good because it's inset just a little bit, right? Click off of it, and voila, I have what I would consider to be a pretty solid feudal Leman Russ main battle tank. Totally not a Leman Russ, but you know what I mean. Now I'm going to do a save as. By default, it saves in a .3mf. I like to change to .stl, and I'm going to save this as feudal main battle tank turret. Right? Save. Hit save. My computer's fairly decent, but I'm working on a laptop that's 6 months old. This can take a while for more complex items. You know, sometimes I have to sit here for a couple of minutes, but I'm going to stop this now, and then I'll do another video showing how to do the main body.